Hey guys, hope everybody's doing good. Just after Thanksgiving, it is Monday after Thanksgiving. Hope everybody had a great one. Hope this was an opportunity for everybody to take some time to reflect and see just how good we have it. I know I sure did. This Thanksgiving was obviously different for us because we're not really going around people. So me and Billy and Stanky and me and Grace were at the house. I was trying to recover from chemo last Wednesday. Let me tell you, this treatment was hands down the worst treatment I've had. I had it in my head that it would get easier. Apparently Billy knew that it would actually get worse. Today, this afternoon, since about, I don't know, about 2 or 3 o'clock, felt so much better. This morning, I was hoping I'd get a little bit of work done this morning, and I ended up sitting around watching Mission Impossible all morning. So I got sick a couple times this morning. Just couldn't do anything, just tired and everything. But thank the Lord, feeling much better. Yesterday and Saturday, normally I'm getting back to moving around pretty good, but it's just been this past treatment. This is the 5th treatment. We're on to the last one next. You'd be like, well, you'd think I'd be looking forward to it. I'm not. It really stinks. It's not. I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I just hate it for everybody who has to go through it. The worst part for me, I've told this before on other videos, the prednisone withdrawals have been the worst. I actually expected some of that today, but I hadn't experienced it yet. The withdrawal just puts me in a very bad, very deep depression. It would be the most depressed I've ever been. Like, it's chemical induced. Obviously, it's a different type. But I wanted to share this on the last video. I have had one time before where I was more depressed. Like, just, I don't know what the deal was. But it was, I wanted to share this last time. Like I say, I thought I talked too much sometimes, so I'm trying to get right to the point because the story might take a few minutes. And I hope y'all can see me and everything. I just haven't do it at night, and I can't do it in the house because Stanky's awake and she's crazy. And phone's ringing. But good, it didn't cut off video. So the most depressed I've ever been in my life was this past spring. And it's like Monday, it was just like it started on Monday. And I was just like, what in the world? Like, it hit me out of nowhere. And I was like, what in the world? I've never experienced anything like this. I talked to Billy about it. Of course, everybody knows she's a trained counselor. She is equipped. But man, it was just like this. It was just like pure hopelessness. Almost like it was chemical induced. But there were no medicines I was on or anything like that. I still don't know what exactly caused it, other than I know the Lord allowed it. And but Monday and Tuesday of that week, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday were just horrible. And we had something that we had to do that weekend, and Billy said, you gotta get your hair did. And because I was looking off rougher than normal. And I said, okay. Well, it was like Thursday morning was the best time, or the only time I could work it out with work. So I took off Thursday morning and went up to Marshall to get my hair did. And I'm sitting there waiting at the bar shop, and I look out the window, and this truck pulls up. I don't recognize the truck, and some guy gets out, big old boy. And I'm like, who is this guy? I don't know him. And was watching him, judging him. you know how we do. But he walks up to the door and opens it up, and as soon as he opens it up, I recognize him. I've known him since we were in middle school. He's a couple years younger than me. He's actually a distant cousin of mine. And I hadn't talked to him, and I hadn't seen him in years. I didn't recognize him from 20 yards. Now, when he got close, I knew exactly who he was. And I was like, hey, boy. And he come and sat down and put his arm around me right there in front of everybody, because he knows that I find that funny. And we started talking, and I had actually talked to him fall of 2020, last year, because he had been he's been trying to get his own place for some time, for a long time. He's tried to wait and be patient, and he kind of was planning on building something, and I was talking with him about it and all the ins and outs and everything, and giving him all the advice I could give him, and all that good stuff. But when he walked in and sat down beside me, I started asking him questions, what's going on, and I said, well, what'd you do about your house? Did you build something? He said, no, I'm buying something. I was like, you're buying something? He said, yeah. I said, where's it at? Because I know that he wanted to stay local to his the area where he grew up, because his brother and his wife and kids actually lived in the house they grew up in, and then his parents lived not a quarter mile down the road. I was like, well, where's it at? And he's like, down past where I grew up. And I said, no, there's not a house down there. There's only 2 houses on that road. It's a dead end dirt road. He said, no, there's a house down there. I said, no, I'm pretty sure. He said, back in 2006, some people came in and built a house at the end of the road. I said, really? I said, well, I have not been down there in a long time. So, and even if I did, I wouldn't have went down past their house. I was like, okay, well, how, you're gonna buy it? He said, yeah. I said, how did this work out? He said, well, some people built it, and they moved away and sold it, and they actually moved back, and now they're selling it again. They moved back, bought the house back, and now they're selling it again. These people can't make up their minds. And I said, and it's right there next to where you grew up. He said, yeah, adjoining property. I said, do what? And this gets me, because my first thought is, I know he's been praying for a long time about what to do about having his own place. I know that. I can go there. I have experiences like that. I'm sure all of you do. But like I say, I was completely depressed. Like, I wasn't even really wanting to talk to him. It was just, but I was making an effort. Sometimes you have to make yourself, make yourself, when you don't feel like it, please just go for it, because it sure paid off for me. So he told me about everything, and I'm just like, man, and he just right there in front of everybody said, man, God is so good. I'm just like, man, you tell it, brother. And I'm going down the road after I get my hair did, said bye, all that, and I'm driving back, and I'm just like, I about break down in tears, like just so happy, just trying to go to that place and understand how long it's been that he's been waiting for something and waiting for the right thing. And I'm just like, man, it's like the Lord promises, we just have to, wait in him. I mean, it's so many times we get in a rush. It actually worked out kind of similar to where we're at, but yeah, kind of a similar situation, but it was not like this. This was amazing. And I was going home, and I was just thanking God for what he'd done for him. And that really, really helped my attitude as far as that depression that I was just sitting in. Well, I get home, come straight home, because it's time to eat lunch, and there was a letter on the counter, and it was actually from a lady, a friend of ours. We had remodeled their kitchen about 2 months earlier. And I was like, darn. And before, like, I already knew, like this is one of the most grateful, like, this lady is just one of the most grateful people I've ever seen. Like, you think about gratitude, and that's something I've always struggled with, is actually being thankful. And we're right here after Thanksgiving talking about it. But I opened the letter, and she had hand wrote a letter, took the time, hand wrote a letter, and just thanking me for what we had done to get her some new cabinets. And I was just blown away. And so this is about 2 hours time difference. So before I went to the barbershop, and even at the barbershop, just depressed as ever, like the worst ever. The prednisone withdrawals I'm whining about, they're horrible. It was not to the extent that I was. This was without a doubt the most miserable I've ever been in my entire life, and didn't have a good reason for it. So I got this letter from this lady, and I'm cloud nine. I'm like, what in the world? Just completely in 2 hours, my perspective, everything had changed. I go back to the cabinet shop, and a supply truck comes up, plywood truck, and big old boy, we've seen him a bunch of times. He's a pretty regular driver, and as soon as he gets out of the truck, he's like, hey, y'all probably hadn't seen me in a while. It's because man, I fell on my truck and hit my head. I had to go in the hospital for 3 days. They thought I was gonna die. And just, I mean, didn't know, hey, how have y'all been doing? You know, it was just kind of, he was straight, he wanted to share that. And as soon as he said that, I said, well, I gotta talk to him about Jesus. Or he's gotta be told. So we get everything unloaded. He keeps talking and sharing and stuff, and we're like, man, that's good. Well, it's time to, we get him unloaded and everything, and Daddy is in there writing a check. And I said, you gonna give him a check? He said, yeah, I'll give him a check. I said, well, make sure you tell him about Jesus. He said, you give him a check, you tell him about Jesus. And Daddy's never backed down. Like, he's the first. And I said, all right. And so he gave me a check, and I walked out there, and I just started talking. First thing I asked him was, man, if you know, sound like you had a pretty close call. Do you know, beyond a shadow of doubt, what would happen to you if that had been your last day? Man, I've been thinking about that so much, and I shared the gospel with him, the best that I could. Did I do a great job? No, horrible. I get nervous, but it was like getting to see that from hindsight. Is I'm in the lowest shape of my life. Thursday morning, in 2 hours, I go from being miserable, having no hope, to telling somebody about the greatest hope, the only hope that we have for our lives, and that's Jesus Christ. And so if you're out there and you get in a funk, man, Lord, if you're willing, the Lord can pick you up. And I want to say, like, from there on, like, everything was perfect. No, honestly, it felt like he picked me up and dropped me back in it. The next day, still struggled with some things. Still wasn't right. But it's like the Lord said, you know, you're going through this right here, but I need to use you for a minute. So I'm going to set up a series of events where you get to see that I'm moving, like with providing that house from a buddy. Then you get to see what gratitude looks like and what you should be experiencing all the time, and that was what our customer had. And then those things actually put me in a position to share Jesus with this guy. So I just thought that was I think that's the coolest thing ever. I got a bunch of them, but it's one of my favorite stories because all the connected pieces. And I'm just very thankful. And I'm wondering, like, well, you know what? It was me, like my dad, Wes, our helper. They didn't see it. It didn't become apparent like the second that guy started talking, because I was already, the Lord had already primed me. He had already put me in that mindset, and it turned out it was really, really cool. Now the bad news is, we hadn't seen the driver since, and I imagine it's just the devil trying to keep him away from here. But so I'm just pray that somebody else has spoke to him, and I hope that he's made a decision to follow the Lord. But anyways, that's my story. I wanted to share that because it really makes me think whenever I'm going through the prednisone withdrawals. It makes me think about that story, and far as that was hands down the worst depression ever. The prednisone withdrawal is terrible. I mean, second worst, but that was really cool how the Lord took me being in a really bad slump, and still used me. So he is really good. But anyways, I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to share that. Been wanting to share it. I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I guess everybody can start worrying about Christmas now. This is going to be exciting with Stanky this year. She'll actually be kind of knowing what's going on and opening presents. So it's we get to, this ought to be a lot of fun picking out some stuff for her. So thankful we get to do that. Anyways, I love everybody, and thank you so much for the prayers and the food and the text messages and everything, and hope everybody has a great week.